Hello everyone and welcome to this video where I'm going to be ranking all of Radiohead's album from worst to best. What I've done is use the same system I used on a previous video where I ranked all of Queen's albums, which if you're interested is a good video, you should go and watch it. But basically every song on the album's been given a score out of 10, all of those scores are then added up together and then divided by the amount of songs on the album. Let's just get straight into it, but before I do I just want to know I have done this purely, and I mean purely, on my enjoyment of the song. That is all I've taken into consideration. I've not taken the popularity, I've not taken the complexity of the music in the song, or how experimental it is, or how ambitious it was, or anything. It is purely, and I mean genuinely purely, my own enjoyment. So I just want to get that out there. This is genuinely just, at the time of recording, how much I enjoy the song out of 10. That is it. Nothing else taken into consideration. Now I know I did a tier list video for Radiohead not too long ago, a few months back. I'm just doing this because it's kind of different. It's more of a solid ranking, but it's also because I was watching back on that tier list video the other day, and I even disagreed with myself on some things. I assume that's the same for a lot of people. You know, obviously your tastes change over time, and you listen to more songs, some more songs more than others that you may have used to listen to. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's just get straight into it with number 9, Pablo Honey. Now, Pablo Honey, obviously their first album, probably no real surprises that it's last. It's normally one or two picks for last place for most people. Obviously, looking at the rankings here, it's not a bad album per se, but mostly everything is kind of just mediocre. It's just very generic, very standard kind of alternative, kind of grungy music from the time. Now, it scored a 5.25 out of 10 overall, which again isn't tragic considering it's the worst rated album for me. Having a look at the ratings here, there's a few standout songs for me. You, Creep, Anyone Can Play Guitar, and that's basically the only three that I would revisit on this album now. And even Creep now for me isn't a 10 out of 10. It's still one of my favourite radio songs, and I'm not embarrassed to say that. I love Radiohead and I do like Creep. It is a great song, but it's just not a 10 out of 10 for me anymore enjoyment wise, because I've now gotten to the point of it's been overplayed for me, so it wouldn't go on as much as it may have gone on previously, especially before. Creep was the only song I knew by Radiohead before I dived into their discography. I knew Creep a long time before I knew any other songs, so I've heard that so many times now that as much as I do enjoy it, it just won't go on as much as it used to. But yeah, overall mediocre album. It's nothing amazing, but it's not the worst thing in the world either. Now, number 8, we have King of Limbs, which scored a 5.87 overall. Again, this album's it's definitely not to everyone's taste. It's very unique, even within the kind of Radiohead discography. The only real standout song I've got is Little by Little, which I've seen so many, the debate over this song, especially on like the Radiohead Reddit page and stuff, is I think it's a bit like Marmite, you either love it or you hate it. I really like it, which is weird for me because these type of songs I wouldn't normally like at all, but I don't know what it is. It's just maybe the deep bassiness of it, and the change up from the verses to the chorus of like the not the key, but I don't know how to describe it. He gets a lot higher, like goes up an octave or two in his voice. I don't know, but I really like that song. Other than that, on the album, Lotus Flower and Give Up the Ghost and Codex they're okay. Codex being probably the best out of those three, but the rest is just like, I don't hate it. And every so often I might revisit the album, but yeah, overall, no. But still, yeah, probably a bit more than Pablo Honey. Next, in 7th place, we have The Bends, which scored an overall score of 6.75, so a bit of a jump up now. On my tier list, and when I first kind of got into Radiohead, The Bends would have been a lot higher, and on my tier list it is quite a lot higher, but on revisits now and really diving into Radiohead, like myself, just constantly listening to one or another song or album or just all of them together, The Bends has kind of hit its spot for me. It's not a bad album at all, and I'm not saying that, but it's just a little bit, it's still a little bit too many basic skippable songs for me. There's standout songs like Street Spirit, which I love. Fake Plastic Trees, again, great. And then there's other songs like Planet Telex, The Bends, High and Dry, and Nice Dream, which they're quite good. I quite enjoy them. Like an 8 out of 10 for High and Dry, it's good. I do enjoy that, but it's not quite the 10 out of 10. And the rest are kind of just middling. Like I wouldn't go out my way to put them on anymore, especially like if I decide to put The Bends on as an album and listening to it, I'll enjoy listening to the songs. I won't have a problem with them, but I wouldn't really go out of my way for any of those other ones, which is why I've scored them lower, because I don't think they're bad and I don't hate them, but I wouldn't go out my way to put them on anymore. Next, in 6th place, we have Hail to the Thief, scoring a 6.85, so only slightly above The Bends. In my mind, I think this deserves to be higher, but I just can't give the songs any other higher ranking than I have. I think it's a good album, but I think there's just too many songs on it, and too many, again, just more mediocre or forgettable songs. Like, they're nowhere near as kind of forgettable as things on like Pablo Honey, but there's still songs on here like Backdrifts and Mixomatosis that I know what they sound like, but I also, like, I'll need a refresher. Like, I couldn't sing Mixomatosis or Backdrifts, like, off the top of my head a few right now. But there are also some standout songs on here. There's 3 I've got as 10 out of 10, which is 2 + 2 = 5, A Wolf at the Door, and They're There. And those 3 are really, really good tracks. And the others where I've kind of got 7 out of 10s, 8 out of 10s, I enjoy them. They're not quite 10 out of 10. They're not the masterpiece. I don't have them on repeat constantly, but I just enjoy the songs. We Suck Young Blood, Go to Sleep, Sail to the Moon, Scatterbrain. Those, yeah, I like them. Good songs. They're not quite 10 out of 10. I don't enjoy them quite as much as those, but they're good. Overall, it's a solid enough album. Next, in 5th place, scoring a bang on 7, is Amnesiac. Amnesiac's an album it's been really weird for me. My first ever listen to it, I enjoyed it more than Kid A. So a brief, I mean, if you see my tier list video, I've already explained this very briefly. I'm going to explain it briefly again. I knew of Radiohead and I knew Creep for years. That was the only song I knew. And then, whenever it was now, a long time back, a year maybe, over a year probably, I stumbled across No Surprises and Exit Music. I cannot remember how, and I don't remember which one came first, but they came at basically the same time. Listened to them, fell in love with them, and thought, do you know what, this Radiohead's good. Like, I've heard 3 songs and I love all 3 of them. I'm going to give it a go. And I intentionally started from Pablo Honey and worked all my way through in order, listening to everything a couple of times over. When I got to Amnesiac, I enjoyed it more than Kid A. The first time I listened to it through, I thought, oh, this is really good. And I listened more to Kid A as well. I listened more to Amnesiac and Kid A over and over again. And Kid A kind of rose and Amnesiac kind of fell. And then recently, Amnesiac has kind of been rising again. So it's kind of going up and down for me. But overall, I think it's pretty damn good. Like, there's a few duds on here, but for the most part, there's some really solid songs, if not some just good songs. I know this is kind of a lot of people say the B-sides to Kid A, which, I mean, it is. It was all recording in the same sessions, which most of you, probably all of you, know. But it has such a different feel. I couldn't see something like Pyramid Song being on Kid A. You know, I don't know what it is, but I just couldn't see it being on there. Same with I Might Be Wrong and Knives Out, and basically all of them on here. I just couldn't see them being on Kid A. Now, obviously that's what we're used to, so, you know, it would be weird, but just thinking about the vibe and feel of Kid A, these feel like they do belong on their own album. You know, things might have been different if it had been a double album, or, you know, but we'll never know. But that's just my thoughts. But anyway, the first track, Packed Like Sardines, I used to not hate, but it was too much for me, especially when I first, like, not the first time I listened to it, because I kind of just listened to it and it is what it was, but when I started getting into it a bit more, but when I was still relatively new, it was a bit too much for me. But as time's passed and I've heard it more, I've really got into it. It's a weird song. It's not something I'd normally like. That's why it's a 6 out of 10, because I don't know, it's growing on me, and if I did this again in a couple of months, it might be higher. But then things like Pyramid Song, You and Who's Army, I Might Be Wrong, Knives Out, Life in a Glass House, phew, amazing, love them. Then the others are kind of just meh, like Polk/Paul, yeah, it is what it is. Dollars and Cents, again, bit better, but it is what it is. Hunting Bears has a 2 out of 10 because there's nothing wrong with it musically. It's just an instrumental, but this again was all done based on my own enjoyment of the tracks and nothing else, and for the most part I don't enjoy instrumentals at all on albums like this. I just don't. That's why it's got a 2 out of 10, because I don't hate it, there's nothing wrong with it, it doesn't displease me when I hear it, like it doesn't, I don't find it horrible to listen to, it's rather pleasant, but I also, it's just boring, and if I'm listening to Amnesiac, I'm just waiting for it to finish, not because I hate it, but because I just don't care. And that is the same from the most part on albums like this with instrumentals, which is why that's so low. In 4th place we have A Moon-Shaped Pool, scoring 7.36. It's actually such a solid album, and it's the most recent Radiohead album, 6 years ago now. I'm hoping not the last. It would be nice to get new music whilst I'm a fan, because that's not something I've experienced yet. Obviously I probably did Enough Creep in 2016, but definitely nothing else, and I wouldn't do for years to come. So it would be nice to get a new album, but if this is the last album, it's probably a damn good one to finish on. It's a more somber album. There's a lot more arrangement and strings than some of the other albums. But it really took me surprised when I was ranking this and listening to it. I really love the album. It's really, it's got some damn good songs on it. Burn the Witch, Daydreaming, Deck's Dark, those first 3 songs were really, really damn good. It's a great start to the album. Then it kind of faults a little bit. Desert Island Disc, Full Stop and Glass Eye are just meh for me. Like, I don't hate them, I don't love them, they're okay. It is what it is. I put Desert Island Disc a little bit higher just because I prefer it a little bit more. Then we get Identikit, which, I love that song, that's such a good song. Then again, another few that are just mediocre to good. And then ending on True Love Waits, which is another beautiful song. It's a really, really solid album, there's not too much to say about it. And it definitely, it definitely deserves its spot in number 4, like I'm happy for it to be there. Next, in 3rd place, we have Kid A, scoring 7.40, so literally 0.004 higher than A Moon-Shaped Pool. Now, like I say, when I first listened to Kid A and then Amnesiac, I preferred Amnesiac. However, Kid A has really, really, really grown on me, especially in like the last 3 months since I did my tier list. I still do think the 2 albums above this are better albums. I still do believe that, which is what I said in my tier list. But this has grown on me a hell of a lot, and it is a damn good album. Everything in its right place. The opening track is amazing. Those first just opening chords, it's so good and sets the mood for the album. It's just so different from OK Computer, I think. And if you do it in, like, if you're listening to them for the first time in release order, like, as they were released, which I did, and you didn't know what you was expecting, which I didn't, and I got hit with this, it was very different. So it took me a while to warm up, but once I did, by God, is it a good album. Everything in its right place, amazing opener. And then Kid A is a bit of an annoying one to be there, because I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I don't think I wouldn't go out of my way to put Kid A on, but I also don't mind it in the album, and I like the kind of, like, the switch from Everything in Its Right Place going into Kid A, and, like, I don't know, I like the feeling of it, but again, I wouldn't... It works more within the album than as a song on its own. But then you get into the national anthem and How to Disappear Completely. Oh my God, the 2 brilliant songs, definitely probably in my top 10. They're amazing songs. And then Tree Fingers falls to the exact same fate as Hunting Bears, which is it's just ambient music to me. It's not bad, and it doesn't, I don't listen to it and think, oh God, this sounds horrible. It's rather pleasant, but it's just ambient music, and it just bores me, and I'm waiting for it to be over when listening to the album. Then into Optimistic, great song. In Limbo, good song, not quite as good. And then Idiotech has really, really, really grown on me. When I first did my rankings of these albums, Idiotech was quite low. It took a while to grow on me, but it's really grown on me now. I really love it. It's a really solid song. And then Morning Bell it's good, very good, 7 out of 10 good. And then Motion Picture Soundtrack is a fantastic end to the album. It's such a great song. And again, that's another one that's kind of grown on me. Like, I liked it when I first heard it, but the more and more I hear it, the more and more I grow attached to it, and I just love it. And Kid A, great album, deserves third place. And the top 3 albums, which are always normally the top 3 albums for every single person that ranks these, at least from what I've seen, if someone put Kid A in first place, I wouldn't have any quarrels with it. If someone put King of Limbs in first place, fair enough, that's your opinion, but I would also be there like, okay, bit weird, but alright, fair enough. Kid A, totally understandable. And next, in second place, unbelievably, with a score of 7.83, is OK Computer. This is the album that I have sat there and said so many times, it's my favourite Radiohead album. It's amazing, it's great, and I do believe all those things still, but here we are in second place. And if you watch my tier list video, which, if you want to go for it, I mean, again, this is the more recent one, so it might be a bit pointless now, but OK Computer was top of the list. However, it was fighting within Rainbows, which is obviously the next album we have coming up. And you can see there in the video, I'm debating it. I'm kind of edging my way to putting In Rainbows ahead of it, but I couldn't do it. And within the last 3 months, I think In Rainbows has just grown and grown and grown on me to the point of it's actually beaten OK Computer. Not to say OK Computer is a bad album, because by God is it good, but what's really killed it is, I mean, look, Paranoid Android, Exit Music, Karma Police, and No Surprises I've got as 10 out of 10s. That's 4 songs on the album already 10 out of 10. I really love all these songs. And then it's only really let down by Electioneering and Subterranean, and then Fitter Happier. Subterranean was one that I ranked somewhat highly in my first ranking of these, and it's not aged greatly for me within my listening experience. When I first heard it, I thought this is amazing, and then I hear it again, okay, it's good, and then I hear it again, yeah, alright, and then I hear it again, and I hear it again, and then I just can't be bothered. It's a great song, and I do enjoy listening to it, but I've just lost more. It would have been an 8 out of 10 when I first listened to these albums, and I'm losing interest in the song. And Electioneering is kind of the same thing, which is why they're both 6 out of 10s. But then Fitter Happier, it works within the context of the album. Fitter Happier isn't a song, but it's on the album, it's there, and I can't escape it, I can't not rank it, so I've had to rank it. It's not a song. It's got the little piano kind of music in the background, which I don't, this is alright, which is why this is, again, has got a 2 out of 10 instead of a 0, because had it just been the electronic voice talking without any of that music or background, it would have got a 0 and put this album even lower probably. But yeah, it's just a shame, because Fitter Happier works within the context of the album. You finish Karma Police, you get that little interlude for a minute, and then move on to Electioneering. But it's not something that would be put on its own. I wouldn't go out my way to put that on. If that came on shuffle play, I would skip it. It only ever works within the context of the album, and it's unfortunate because it has put the score down into second place. Not to say I'm upset with my first place choice, because it again deserves to be there. So in first place with a score of 8.30, so it leapt up, is In Rainbows, and yeah, it just deserves it. It is such a good album. The lowest scoring I've got on here is 6 out of 10, and that's only for one song. It's such a good album, and it's really grown on me and grown on me and grown on me, and it deserves first place. I have to give it to it. It does deserve first place. Now, let me just explain something, because people would have probably now noticed that Weird Fishes is ranked lower than most other things on here. Musically, this is the most interesting song on here. It's got some amazing kind of weird drum beats going on, some weird patterns, and it's great in that regard. I actually don't like it that much anymore. when I first heard it, it was cool. It was, oh my god, this is so different. I'm enjoying this, and I know a lot of people have this in number one. And if I was ranking these based on like the music itself, as in like the experimentation and the complexity and blah blah blah, it'd probably be first, second place. But this is purely based on my own enjoyment of listening to it, and I just don't enjoy it as much as other things on here. I just don't. I don't know why that is. Maybe I need to listen to it more. Maybe, but I just don't enjoy it as much. But moving on from that, 15 Step, great opener. Going into Body Snatchers, not quite as good, I don't think, but still damn amazing. Then going into Nude, oh god, it's so good. It's Paranoid Android was my top Radiohead song. It was my number one song, and Nude has taken its place. So that is my number one Radiohead song. Then we get Weird Fishes, which again, nothing wrong with it. It's actually a really good song, but I just don't enjoy it as much, especially coming out of Nude, because it's my favourite Radiohead song. So coming out of Nude, going into anything, I'm always going to enjoy whatever comes next a little bit less, I guess. Then into All I Need, which is another song that's really grown on me. When I first ranked in Rainbows, I put All I Need in last. I know at the time I just wasn't feeling the song. It's very slow paced compared to everything else, kind of in front of it. 15 Step, quick. Body Snatchers, quick. And then you kind of had Nude, which isn't quick, but it I don't know, it just doesn't feel slow either. And then Weird Fishes, it's a quick feeling song, and then All I Need is kind of dun, the bass is very slow. It's all very slow moving, but it's really grown on me. I mean, it's a 9 out of 10, and it was in last place originally when I first ranked this, so you can see how much it's grown on me. It's really, really grown on me. I love that song. Then Forced Up, or Faustorp, I don't know how you say it. That is widely considered the worst song on the album by most people. It's still a good song, 7 out of 10. I still really enjoy it. It's a nice, quick-paced song. It's not exactly musically complex. I enjoy the string arrangements kind of in the background going on. Then Reckoner, a great song, 9 out of 10. House of Cards is probably the weakest song on here. Again, but a 6 out of 10 for the worst song on the album for me anyway. Still good, you know what I mean? Again, I don't hate it at all. I enjoy the song, but just compared to everything else, it's about 6 out of 10. Then Jigsaw Falling Into Place, 10 out of 10 song. That's really grown on me as well. That's such a great song. I've recently been listening to that on repeat. And then ending with Videotape, which is again a beautiful song. It's a great album ender. So that is all my rankings for the Radiohead albums. Please do let me know your opinions and your thoughts on what's your favourite, what's your least favourite in the comments below. Hopefully you enjoyed listening to this video. But other than that, I'll see you guys later.